Thanks so much, Matt. This morning, we continue our coverage of the back to school season. The expenses for sending kids back are not going down as inflation rates rise. This morning, we're looking at what this means for families in terms of supplies, school lunches, field trips, and everything else. Right now, we're joined with Dr. and BGSU Professor Peter Vanderhart. Dr. Vanderhart, thanks for spending a part of your Saturday with us this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kaylee.
So we'll start out with, what does this look like for families right now? Going back to school and the current rate of inflation, what are we seeing for our area?
Yeah, the year-over-year inflation rate is quite high historically. It's a little over 8%. One encouraging thing is that the latest month, the prices were stable, and most of that had to do with gasoline coming back down after its big rise. And households are going to be strapped a little bit because of that, because wages just haven't kept up. Wages have only gone up about 5%. Economists say that wages are sticky, that you might only get a raise once a year, but gasoline prices can change day to day. So consumers are going to feel strapped, I think, with the back to school. Now, one encouraging thing is that the rate of inflation for school supplies and apparel has not been as high as that 8%. It's only been around 5 or 3%. So there's not going to be too much sticker shock, but households are going to be concerned, and they're going to feel like their budgets are tight.
Yeah, if they don't already feel that. I know there's been talk, and we've probably all heard of it, of recession on the forefront of everyone's mind. So how can we prepare for that as we head into a really busy time of year for families?
Yeah, I would say this recession, if we are in one, it hasn't been sort of officially pronounced yet, but the signs are there, 2 quarters of declining output. One weird thing about this recession is that the unemployment rate is still very good. And so I would counsel people sort of not to panic. If your job is stable, and you're comfortable in that position, things might be a little bit tight because of the inflation, but I wouldn't panic and do some radical changes. At least not yet. This might end up being a mild recession, but there are things you can do to sort of deal with the uncertainty. The typical finance advice that, try to pay down your credit card debt, try to do some more comparison shopping, all the sorts of things that people try to do when things are looking a little uncertain.
If there's one thing we've learned with the economy, is that it will almost always bounce back. So is there something that families can maybe have relief about as we look forward to the economy maybe wrapping and getting back to normal?
Yeah, I think unless some unexpected events happen, I think you'll see inflation coming back down. The Federal Reserve is doing the right things by raising interest rates. That can cause other problems with the housing market and perhaps car markets where you're borrowing a lot of money. But I would think that the inflation rate is going to get under control, maybe only at the cost of a recession. But I see, unless there's a new outbreak of COVID or some unexpected new war, something like that, I would expect that the economy will return to some sort of equilibrium within a year or so. I don't have a crystal ball, but you're right. Economies tend to bounce back, and I would expect things to even out in the near future.
Great. Dr. Vanderhart, thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday and giving us some tips on inflation.